In the Ugh. Oh, great. I'm already 10 seconds in the stream and I already almost fell. This is weird. Well, is she? Maybe that wasn't. Alright, I guess it's the 5-minute mark, so let's get started. Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to Cryptocast, your source for all things crypto-related, unknown, and paranormal. I'm your host, Parker, and this is a stream that I've kind of been looking forward to for a while. I promise next week we'll get back on topic with some more crypto-related stuff. But today I'm going to be talking about the experiments from Lilo and Stitch. Now, Lilo and Stitch was one of my favorite movies, and of all time it still is, and I have a little Stitch here. So, yay. I need to find a place to put him for the stream. I'll probably keep him right. Damn it. There we go. Okay. So we got Stitch in the background. Let me see. But yeah, so Lilo and Stitch was one of my favorite shows as a kid, favorite movies as well. Still is one of them because I don't know why. I love the setting. I love the creatures. I love Stitch. It's just great. Honestly, I love it so much. So today we're going to be talking about some of the experiments from Lilo and Stitch. What the heck? Huh. So Jumba had 6 series of experiments. So 0 to 99, those were his test batch. So he just made those to just test out how good he was of a scientist. And the 1 to 199 was civic disturbances. So civic disturbances that just cause like trouble for the civilians and everything. And then 200 to 299 was technological and scientific. So each of them did something with technology, really smart science related stuff. 300 to 399 caused psychological disturbances. So there was one that could enter your dreams, cause you have nightmares. One that could, what else? I'm trying to think. Ones that could. I'm not sure what else, but I know there was one that could enter your dreams, cause you have nightmares. Psychological. One that could actually control your mind. And there's a lot of weird ones for that. So then series 400 to 499 had to do with the military. So these were like soldiers that he created. 500 to 599 were elemental manipulators. Like there's a lava one, a water one, a wind one. Pretty much the last Airbender, but in Lilo and Stitch form. And then the last series he created, series 6 to 629, were for battlefield or doomsday experiments with galactic implications and world-ending properties. Jumba's strongest line. So Jumba created so many dangerous experiments. Some not so dangerous. Some seem dangerous, but each of them had like their own purpose that he wanted them to fulfill. So we will be talking about some of the experiments that Jumba has created. So let's get the basic one out of the way. So we got Stitch. And Stitch, in the movie, he was supposed to be Jumba's last experiment. Of course, after that, he created 627, a 628, which we never got to see, and then Leroy, who is technically 629 in Leroy and Stitch. And he's he's a blue. People think he's a koala. People think he's a weird dog about antennas and little spines. He can climb walls. He's super strong. He was very, very aggressive. Hello, thank you for tuning in. Hi guys. And the only weakness that he had was he couldn't swim. Let me see. Hold on, do I have that? There we go. Okay. Perfect. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, so his only weakness was really that he couldn't swim. So that was his only downfall. Like he was like his body was just so dense that if he got in water, he sank and he could drown. So he's just pretty much one of the basic ones. And then there's this one girl experiment that looks almost like him named Angel. And she's experiment 624. She has like long antennae that come down. She has like pretty much like all the basic powers of Stitch, except she can sing a song that turns all experiments made before her evil. And if she sings the song backwards, it turns all those experiments that were turned evil back to good. So Jumbo kind of did like a little reset button on her just in case something went wrong. And throughout the show, we see she's Stitch's girlfriend, but we're not going to talk about the Stitch anime, if you want to even call it that, because that was just a clusterfuck. It was so bad. But it was a good show. At times the weird little anime, but I didn't like the whole setting or everything. I like the original Lilo and Stitch better, but yeah. So, ooh, what is this? So that's pretty much Stitch and Angel, and then Stitch, he also had this other experiment that was created just before him, which throughout the show was called 625, and until he was given the name Reuben in the movie Leroy and Stitch, and he has all the powers that Stitch has. He chooses not to use them though. Instead, he just makes sandwiches instead. I actually have him over here. Let me grab this little guy. So he literally has, hey, Rena, how are ya? So he literally has all of the powers of Stitch, except he chooses not to use them and chooses to make sandwiches instead, which is actually really hilarious. Let me find this guy. Where did I put him? Motherfucker. I apologize. There we go. There we go. See, he looks like a little brown Stitch with short ears, and yeah, he has all the powers that Stitch has, except he chooses not to use his powers. Instead, he uses his powers to make sandwiches for himself, and occasionally he works with the show's sort of like one of the show's main villains, Captain Gantu, and he occasionally offers to make him a sandwich as well if he's having a bad day or something. So he's a good, wholesome guy, good friend. And then the other antagonist in the show is kind of working behind the scenes from a jail cell is Dr. Jacques von Hamsterville. He gets called him a gerbil, and he used to be Jumbo's colleague back in college, and he just kind of wants revenge and everything. So he's got his motives. Did somebody send anything else? Perfect. There we go. Okay, I had something happened. There we go. So let's talk about more of these guys. And then guys, next week I promise I'm getting back more into the actual cryptid stuff. Just last week I talked about Disney's, and then about Disney. I just brought this up one day, and you guys seem to want it, so I'd be happy. So I'm happy to do it for you guys. So Experiment 000. His name is Cyber. Now, as you can kind of tell, he does look like Stitch on this one side right here, but he's more machine than what's the word for it? Organic now. That's it, organic. And back in the day, he used to look pretty similar to Stitch, except he was so dangerous that Jumbo sent him off into space, and he eventually made his body mechanical. And this is what he looked like originally. Just a little, pretty much a happy little Stitch. But he was so dangerous. I think he broke free. Jumbo sent him off into space, and he eventually... I forgot to turn that light off. I'm sorry, the cuckoo clock's going off. And he can control, so he locked him away on an ice planet, and he escaped and made his body mechanical, making him so powerful that in the Stitch anime, which I don't consider fucking canon at all, Stitch couldn't even stop him, and then he was captured and sent back to where he belonged. So, yeah, he's dangerous. Then we have Experiment 001. His name is Shrink. I don't know how to describe this guy, really. He kind of has like a little... He looks like a Neopet, in all honesty. I don't know. He's kind of like a crab. I don't know. I really don't know how to describe him. So he has the power to shrink objects and then make them big again. And it says he's mischievous. He levitates, takes energy out of him, and he often rests on tree branches. So yeah, he can make things big, things small, including himself. So he's pretty cool. Then we have this little guy who looks like a little possum. His name is Double Dip, and he is Experiment 002. And pretty much what his name suggests what he does, he just double dips everything. So take a chip and put it in a salsa. Hey Stephanie, how are ya? So what he literally does is he takes some, he has chips and salsa, puts the chip in, takes a bite, dips it back in. He just double dips everything, like his name suggests. And he was actually Mrs. Hasengawa in the show. She's like this really old lady. She took him as a cat, which I think is actually pretty funny. Now let's go to Gigi. So this is Gigi. She looks just kind of like a Shih Tzu dog almost. And she's Experiment 007. She's actually owned by Lilo's bitch friend named Myrtle. And giving a lurk and listen. Oh, okay. But yeah, so what she does is she barks really loud, and she is just known to pretty much just irritate people with her really loud barking. And she can talk. We found this out in Leroy and Stitch. She just doesn't do it till the very, very last fight. And then we have this little guy. His name is Pop. He's Experiment 009. He appears in the weird anime or whatever that I don't consider canon. Pop's main function is to pop balloons. at the enemy to surprise and disorient them. And he lives in a weather balloon apparently in the weird anime. So yeah, his main purpose is to pop balloons. I think he's still pretty cute though. Like I would love this little guy. Then we have Felix, Experiment 010. And his ability, he was a neat freak. He cleaned up, and he eventually got like so out of control by cleaning that like anything to him was dirty and germy. So they had to fix him, and then he eventually just cleaned up. Well, no, he cleaned up. He sucked it up, and then he just shot it back out and made a mess and everything. And then he was okay with everything being dirty. So they eventually renamed him to Oscar because apparently people named Oscar are dirty. That's their logic, not mine. So I'm sorry. Then we have Experiment 020. His name is Slick. And what he does is he's pretty much a professional salesman. He's a heckler. Um, he pretty much tries to sell anybody everything under the sun that he has. He eventually like sells Lilo's house while she's away, and they have to get that all back. And I mean, he's not one of my favorites, but I mean, I do kind of like him a bit. I don't know. I don't know. He's weird. Then we have Experiment 021, whose name is Twang. And let me see. He is designed to play music from Jumba's home planet, growing meaner and uglier, and increase his power and growth through the sympathy he receives from his beautiful music. So, yeah, so he plays songs, and he gets meaner and he gets really ugly the more people like his music, which is odd. So he literally turns into this gremlin-like creature when he gets that way. That thing just looks like the Hulk on, or no, a gremlin, honestly. If you guys ever seen that movie Gremlins, maybe I'll do a stream on like movie monsters at some point. Okay, let me see. Okay, this is why I literally hate the anime adaptation of this so much. This is Hertz Donut. He's literally a fucking seahorse. Yay. Experiment 022. He's designed to shoot donuts that can restrain movement from his mouth. And he runs his own donut stand, apparently. So great. Experiment 025. I really do like this one a lot. His name's Topper. He looks like a little star. And he's designed to give off a radiantly bright light with which to pose as an invasion signaling beacon to the Galactic Armada. And eventually in the show, like his one true place, Lilo tries to find the one true place for all these experiments. He stays on top of a Christmas tree, and that's his home. Doing Christmas tree star thingies, shining for everyone. Then we have this cute little fucker. And no, I'm not talking about Kelly Clarkson, though I guess she is pretty cute too. But Checkers, Experiment 029, and his ability is he crawls on somebody's head, and whatever it pretty much hypnotizes other people, and they do what that person says. So like if they have that on the head and say like bow down to me, they'll bow down. Get me the launch codes, they'll get the launch codes. So this experiment is pretty dangerous in the wrong hands. But it is a cute little guy. His name's Checkers because I guess kind of like King Me. So we have this little guy. His name's Pincher, Experiment 031. And again, he was kept by the old fruit stand lady, Mrs. Hasengawa, as one of her cats. And he is designed to pinch people. So he just goes up to people, pinches them, and every time he pinches somebody, he goes, "Got you!" and runs off laughing. And then we have Experiment 032. This little guy's name is Fibber. I remember this episode a lot. So he's a lie detector, and every time somebody lies, he does a beeping sound. So he's just pretty much just a built-in lie detector. Then we have this little guy. His name's Hammerface, Experiment 033, and all he is, he's just trying to hammer nails. And fucking hell, I just hit my hand. And eventually he goes around like making houses for local charities. So he's a good guy. He's a good kid, friendly boy. We have he is designed to poke holes in the water containers with his tail or his finger. He just pokes it, and his one true place is next to a carton of milk, which is in front of cats. So he gives cats milk. He's a good kid. Then we have 040. His name is Poker. Or no, Backhoe. Backhoe. I just misread. Oh, crap. I'm sorry, guys. This is Backhoe. He's pretty much a giant mole, and he digs up the ground, and he just scrapes up vegetation. So he's pretty much was designed to destroy crops. That's what he was made for. And then we have Experiment 040. His name is Forehead because he has four heads, and I don't know, this one right here looks like Stitch just wearing a mustache, but that's just me. And he is designed to be a barbershop quartet, except all of them sing really, really off key to annoy the shit out of people. And again, Stan Lady thinks he's a cat and keeps him. Okay, now tell me this one doesn't. Now tell me this one doesn't look like Perry the fucking platypus from Phineas and Ferb. He's 047. His name is Lowrider, and what he was made to do is pull people's pants down to embarrass them. But he literally looks like a fucking Perry the platypus. He's like the same color green. He just looks like Perry the platypus. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. Then we have Experiment 051. His name's Hawker. He kind of looks like a little Frankenstein guy, but his ability is to spit acid saliva. And again, the old fruit stand lady thinks he's a cat and keeps him. Then we have 054, who is named Fudgy, and his purpose is to smother people in chocolate and drown them. Look, he could come over to my house sometime. I need chocolate. Then we have this little fucker. This guy is a fucking asshole. We have French Fry. Experiment 062. He looks like a little chef. Okay, I just have to show this off. We got blessed with an ad from Jeff Goldblum website. I just had to point that out. I'm sorry. But he is designed to make really good meals, but he removes all the nutrition from his cooking, and the people become so fat, he then cooks them and eats the people himself. But the effects wear off after 24 hours, and then eventually Leo's like, hey, you can cook healthy and make food good. So he owns his own little French fry stand and cooks low fat food for people, which um, is pretty much just changed his whole programming. Then we have Experiment 074. Her name is Welco. We're getting that ad off of there. And she shoots bubbles at people that be popped. And I don't know. There's just something not right about this one. Just something I don't like about it. It looks so fucking weird. I'm curious what this one is. I don't know. Oh, it's this fucker. Okay, so Experiment 077 is named Zop. That's a cute guy. And he's designed to annoy people with his loud snoring. And again, the fruit stand lady thinks he's a cat and keeps him as a pet. That old lady needs fucking mental help. She thinks he's a cat. Jesus Christ. Then we have Clink, who is Experiment 086. He looks like a little crab with a capsule in him. And he's designed to capture and confine enemies inside of him. And eventually, he works with the police. So I don't know if you love the police. Fuck the... But he's a good kid. Like, I appreciate this man. I appreciate him. Then we have Skip. Experiment 089. And if you press the button on his head, he skips a person's life by 1 decade, bringing them into the future. And he has a reverse setting that will put them back in the present day. And he's at an amusement park showing people what it would be like in the future. That's like his one true place. But he takes people in the future and then brings them back. Now that's pretty much all the ones that we have for here. So we're getting to the Experiment 101 series. And this... Okay, I can't even fit this whole one on screen because it's so big. But his name is Stop Go. He's a flash... He's not a flashlight. That's not a fucking flashlight. That's a stoplight. And he is designed to cause traffic jams, and then he becomes a traffic light in an island in Hawaii in the show. Then we have this cute little fucker. His name's Stamen, not Stalin. He's not a communist. If you guys want to make little communist memes out of this and send them to me, I would fucking love that. He's designed to attract bees to himself to prevent pollination of flowers. And then he lives on a bee farm and attracts bees out of their hives to help actually come and pollinate the flowers. So he's a good little kid. We have this little fucker. I remember him. Experiment 110, Squeak. And he's designed to just talk non-stop and annoy the crap out of people. Like, he talks really fast like this, and he doesn't stop, and he's like, oh, hey, what's that, what's that, what's that, what's that, ooh, just pretty much... Imagine having to live with that, like, all day. We have Experiment 111, his name is Mulch. And he's pretty much a lawnmower, except he tears up the ground beneath his feet. And again, the old fruit stand lady thinks he's a cat and keeps him. Bitch, how many cats did this fucker have? We have Experiment 112. His name is Tunes. He looks like a little axolotl with a vacuum hose stuck to his mouth. And he's designed to bring pictures to life. and it only works in cartoons, and transform into the subject of any drawing inserted in his mouth. Also has the ability to make images on paper come to life in 3D, and he works at an animation studio. So, like, you draw a picture of, okay, so one of my fan arts in the back, let's just say that Mothman right there, put that Mothman drawing in his mouth, he would turn into Mothman, which is pretty cool. And I can see how he can be used for dangerous purposes. Draw him into a grenade, he'll turn into a grenade or a gun, baseball bat, things like that. He can be dangerous in the wrong hands. Then we have this little guy. His name is Shu, Experiment 113, and these little antennas on the back, they can be flipped. If they're facing down and they glow, he causes really bad luck. But if they're flipped up and they glow, he causes really good luck. And he works at a miniature golf course, and causes people to have really good luck on the final hole. So he's helpful. These guys are all helpful. I love these guys. Then we have Experiment 120. His name's Snafu. He looks like a little spawn of Cthulhu right there. Like, I'm pretty sure this guy was like literally just taken out of fucking Lovecraft's mind. Sorry, I had something on my phone. And he is designed to foil enemy plans, and he will also thwart any strategy to catch him, and he can only be caught by accident. And apparently he gets sent off with the military. He works with the military. Then we have Experiment 122, whose name is Dorkifier. Not Markiplier, but Dorkifier. And his ability is to zap a pink ray from his horns that changes anyone's appearance into something ridiculous. And he pretty much makes costumes for parties now that he was good. Then we have Experiment 123, who is named Carmen, and she looks like the Chiquita lady. I'm not even joking, like a little alien Chiquita lady. And she makes people dance uncontrollably until they drop, and she hosts dance contests on the Hawaiian Islands. Then we have Experiment 126, whose name is Stank. Literally looks like a little fly mixed with a skunk. And she's designed to... Oh, it's a girl. She's designed to launch spheres of repulsive odor from underneath her fur. So, yeah, she's pretty nasty. Then we have Bugbee, who is Experiment 128, and his ability is to turn people and objects into insects. And at the end, he gets